Hey folks, Eric here, the Whatever Guy, because it really is whatever with me. And do you folks want to know about these Colorado products overstating their THC potency? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know, man, my name's Eric. I'm the Whatever Guy, and I use videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp, cannabis, just what's going on around. But today, man, sitting here looking at an article from over at Marijuana Moment about the Colorado, excuse me, the Colorado, increasing their basically increasing their potency levels on their packaging for their products and basically lying to consumers. And so what we have to understand is across the board is like, this is not just going on in Colorado, and it's not just going on in the cannabis market. It's going on across the United States. It's going on across, the hemp and cannabis market as a whole. And someone like me that's a marketer, man, I understand exactly kind of what's going on. As you walk into some of these stores, guys, you will notice that a lot of the packaging is starting to change. In the past, things like, places like Boro Hemp and stuff, what we would do is we would post right on the front of the package, man, 10 milligrams per gummy. And that's how we would run our, and there's 150 milligrams, per pack, total per pack. We would put that in small writing down at the bottom. But what we found is that consumers go into places, they're looking for those inflated potencies on all products. It doesn't matter whether it's a hemp, doesn't matter whether it's cannabis or whatever the case is. And so now what they're doing is they'll put 150 milligrams, the total amount of the package on, on the label in big letters where you can see it. And chances are, you can go into a place where someone's got the 10 milligram on there with 150 milligrams per pack, and someone's got 150 milligrams on there with 10 milligrams per pack, and everybody is going to buy the 150 milligram per pack every time, because it seems like everybody kind of relates more potency or the higher THC rating to how much, how high you can get. But that's just not the case all the way around, especially for those of us in the cannabis and hemp space that understand how this works. But let me just say, along this article, you're looking at someone right here that's in this space, and as we move through this article, I'm gonna lay some real truths down on you guys so you guys can check it out. Okay. All right, so we here at Marijuana Moment, and let me just say this too, guys. I want to apologize for not shooting videos for like the last week. As you guys know, I'm running a new store over in Cantonment. I've been going over there every afternoon, 7 days a week right now, and so we've had a couple good days over there, selling a lot of good THCa flower, a lot of good THCa products, and some Delta 8, and obviously some HHC products and stuff like that. But the big seller down at that store is THCa flower, because we carry some of the best stuff on the market. You guys are in the area over Pensacola, around Cantonment, Mobile, stop over and see the Bud Stop over at 416 North Highway 29 in Cantonment, Florida, and check us out, because that's where I've been the last couple of weeks. And I apologize. I will get on some sort of schedule in the next couple of weeks, man, where I'm actually shooting videos on a regular schedule again. Just my schedule's all the way around with the employees we got and stuff like that, getting schedules set up. Once all that gets set up, then I'll be more on a regular schedule, and I apologize for that. It says study shows Colorado marijuana products are overstating THC potency, with researchers citing possible lab fraud. Let me just say this possible lab fraud right here. There is no possible lab fraud. There is lab fraud going on across the board. Like, I know for a fact that I can literally call certain labs and basically send them a sample, tell them what I want the sample to come out to be, and that sample will come out to be that on the other side of it. Like, I don't have to do any other R&D other than that right there. Like, I can literally send it off to a lab, tell them what I want, and it will come back that way. Like, that's not the way it's supposed to be in this industry. Obviously, when we send a sample off, we want to find out if it's got the pesticides in it. We want to find out everything that's going on in that product. But chances are 9 times out of 10, if you guys will just go into a place and pick up a product and flip it over and scan the COA, a lot of times they'll put the original COA up. Like, a lot of times you'll look at the package and you'll see the COA, and you'll realize that those don't even match up. Like, there's not even what's supposed to be in the package is in the package according to the COA. But I digress, and we will move down in this article just a little bit and check it out. It says cannabis flower sold in Colorado claims to contain much more THC than it actually does, according to my findings, published in a peer-reviewed journal PLOS Online, PLOS One. THC is a psychoactive compound and is derived when cannabis flower, commonly referred to as bud, is heated through smoking or cooking. Accurate THC reporting is a linchpin for medical patients, recreational consumers, and the overall integrity of the cannabis industry. Medical and recreational flower are generally the same. The differences in testing requirements, price, taxes, and purchase limits. Misleading potency information can disrupt medical dosages, misguide recreational users, and erode trust in an industry striving for legitimacy. Consumers often associate higher THC levels in cannabis flower with superior quality, potentially leading to overpayment for products that may not meet their expectations. This misconception can also create incentives for cultivators, testing labs, and dispensaries to generate higher THC numbers, whether through cultivation techniques or through testing fraud. Like guys, like I just told you guys, like I can literally send a sample off to certain labs and basically tell them what I want the THC potency numbers to be. And like I said before, like I told you before, as you walk into these, these consumers, or excuse me, these retail locations, these dispensaries and places like that, you will notice that, like I said, a lot of those packages do not have, how much per gummy is on those. It'll be written in very fine print down at the bottom. What they're looking for is trying to put as much total THC on the front of the package as they possibly can, because they have figured out that the consumer, when they walk in the door, has associated higher THC levels with a superior quality and a potentially more, a higher high. And that's just not the way cannabis works, guys. There's a lot of factors that go inside of smoking cannabis or ingesting cannabis in any way. And there's a lot of things that are involved in it, especially with all the cannabinoids that are there and with all the terpenes that can be derived from a cannabis plant. There's a lot of different effects that can be met just through terpene levels and through other minor cannabinoids in that product right there. And you have to understand that this is a cannabis plant. So that cannabis plant has all of those minor cannabinoids in it also. And some of them are just, obviously can be raised, through certain genetics to give them certain strain levels the way they want. I've walked into the store down there, what I've got down there now, and I've got THC flower on the shelf at about 16%. And in my opinion, that 16% THC flower smells, smokes, and the potency is a lot more than what I've got with that Oreos on the shelf right now with about 27%. I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but you guys can try it out for yourself. But I prove it every day in the store. Like, people come in the store all the time and ask me, which one of these flowers is the best? And I tell them, like, this is not the best looking flower, but this is smoking the best right now, and you guys can check it out. And I've not had one complaint all the way around. I've had other people come in and grab several different strains, but I've not had one complaint all the way around. Everybody that's came in there and said I've smacked them on the butt with that 16 or 17% THCA flower that I've got. Additionally, testing for toxins, pesticides, and total yeast and mold can also fall victim to falsification. Recent reports reveal instances where labs in New York and other states have passed products that should have failed. This casts doubts on the credibility of the broader testing processes in place. I gathered a total of 23 cannabis flower samples from 10 dispensaries across northern Colorado Front Range, which includes Denver, Fort Collins, and Garden City. The samples encompass 12 strains, including indica, sativa, and hybrid types, and varied in reported THC values. Some had ranges such as 12.8% to 19.3% on the lower end, and 28.07% and 31.28% on the higher end, while others had single values such as 16.4% and 17.4%. I sent the samples to a third-party testing lab that does high-performance liquid chromatography on HLPC. And HLPC is a method to separate, identify, and quantify components and mixtures based on the chemical properties. It is the most commonly used method in cannabis to test, analyze cannabinoids, and detect contaminants. This can ensure product potency, safety, and quality. Approximately 70% of the labels reported THC percentages more than 15% higher than what was quantified by the lab. Among the 23 flower samples analyzed, 18 displayed lower THC levels than reported, with 16 falling below 15% of the stated value, 13 falling below 30% of the reported THC value, and 3 samples falling below half of the reported value. Notably, only 1 sample had slightly higher THC than reported. 1 sample out of 23 had higher THC than reported, and the majority of them that were 15% less, 30% less, and then obviously a couple of 3 of those were 50% less. The observed disparity was not due to aging. When THC ages and degrades, it turns into cannabinol, or CBN. CBN was not found in measurable amounts in any of the samples, however, and further testing indicated stable THC levels over time. A fundamental query looms large. With advancements in cultivation techniques, including lighting, nutrients, and selective breeding, has the potency of cannabis flower genuinely surged over the past 15 years? That's a good question. THC levels averaged 9.7% back in 2009 based on testing of DEAC's cannabis flower. Today's level reportedly surpassed 35%, though they are not as common as consumers have been led to believe. DEAC's cannabis flower averaged 13.88% in 2019, which is closer to my observed mean of 14.98% than the reported mean of my samples, which was 20.7% to 24.10%. So that's a large rise, guys. Like like between in 2019, I think the highest level was like 13.8% is what the DEACs like, across the board, like, all the flower that the DEACs in the United States, the total combined of that was 13.8%. That's kind of hard to believe, man. There was a lot of weed being sold, obviously back then, but now we move to a position where the majority of the samples that are being seized are at 20 point, are between 20 and 24%. So we have increased THC levels over time also as we have moved forward in this project. Guys, this is a crazy situation right here. Like I said before, this is not just going on in the cannabis market. This is going on in the hemp market all the way around. This is going on in both markets. We have overstated. There are companies out there that do overstate. My hope is that you folks out there will try to run towards trusted companies out there, especially if you want to know the exact potency of what's going on in your products. There are companies out there, like I said, that can basically call a lab, tell them what they want the percentage to be, and that's what it will be when they get the sample back, and that COA will show it and everything. And it goes not only for this, guys, not only for flower, but it also goes for a lot of the products that are out there. Whether we're talking about gummies, candies, we're talking about whatever type of product we're talking about in this case. All of these products, not just flower, are inflated in the THC potency. All right, folks, whatever, guys, signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love it. See ya.